Hey everyone, I'm Tassenix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming, the Grand Arena focused podcast for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, centered around the top 100 of Kyber 1. I am joined by my regular co-hosts, Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, solid week, 2-1 to start. Great matches, each one. And yeah, the loss, as usual, taught the most. There were a couple things that looked like they should have been unlocked, but they were not. Over to you, Dagger. How about you? How you doing?
Uh, Doing all right. Yeah, I went 3-0. I have
Nice.
friend of the show Arsenal in my first round this week.
Yeah, he told me about that. Any chance that we might stream that? Any chance?
It's Wednesday. No, absolutely zero chance. It's on a weekday. Absolutely zero fucking chance. It's on a weekday. Sorry.
Even if it was a
Can
little
Arsenal
late?
stream his, maybe?
Even if it was a little late? Yeah, Arsenal maybe. I think Arsenal would be down. But I was
All
hoping
right.
to maybe have both of you.
How bad do both you want to stay up to 11:30 p.m. Eastern?
I mean, not
No,
especially.
no shame off my back. Let's do it.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling you, when my availability starts during the week, man, it is not pretty.
Really bad. All right. Well,
Yeah.
glad to hear you had a good week, though. How about you, TJ? What's good? How did the week go?
1 and 2, but a revelation for myself and just kind of an understanding that I'm just going to push against the wall.
Okay. I hear you. I know we're going to be going into that into some detail. Sasha Aisha. So, yes, tell us about your adventures this last week.
I went 0-0 legitimately. I went 3-0 if you count Erodiums, and it was honestly a new kind of emotional low because I've had tons of Erodiums over the years, but at least they like put one like obligatory attack in to get rewards. In my 3 matches, no one even bothered attacking. None of my opponents even bothered to get the rewards for like just showing up. It was the most sort of inconsequential, like, did it even really happen week I've had. So that's where I am. But this week I go into a new bracket where the biggest roster that I'll face has 4 GL. So that's pretty cool.
Neat. By the way, what Sasha didn't tell all of you is that for week 1, I saw what the rankings were. It was 7 Erodiums and then Sasha at 8. He wasn't even the best one in the bracket. The Q thought he was the shitter. So you were barely hanging on for dear life.
I barely made it. And by the way, going 3-0, what that did is it took me from rank 8 to rank 10. So
nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Classic. This is what happened to me like 6 weeks ago now. Something
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did the same thing. My last round, I was at 31 and I won, and I went from 31 to like 39. Yeah, buddy.
Party hard, guys. Nice. All right. Fatal, how about you? How did the week go?
It was honestly kind of a big nothing burger of a week. It was the first match. I ended up trying to call it as being a test stream because I figured it would be like opponent holding 8 GL and like every B and C team you could think of was like an unlosable spot for them, and then my defense did pretty okay. But frankly, I don't even know if I would call it a premature doom because there was still a fair amount of like a lot of the Plan A fights just ran into weird landmines, so even if I tried to take it seriously, I think it probably still would have gone south. But and then got an Erodium, and then got a opponent who couldn't clear a stranger front wall, so it was basically a non-match. So yeah, it was one of the weeks of all time. I am extremely ready for Set 25 to die. I think my enjoyment is going to be massive when it dies.
Yeah, I'm really just counting the days now. I need this. So right there with you. And how appropriate that you happen to mention Stranger, because it's time to dig into the meta analysis. First up, of course, elephant in the room, Stranger. As far as early reports on fighting Stranger, I want to say every round this week was against the FDC. Lord Vader was, I want to say, a 55 me. And I've heard from others that this can lose a reasonable amount of the time if they choose to, if the enemy chooses to focus in on Lord Vader and bully him down early. Sea Bane, I did try one round and dig this. This is where I had a Relic 4, I want to say. Relic 2, maybe? No, it was 4-star Relic 2, I want to say. Fighter Maul on that team. And I had Relic Delta all over because my C and Bane are both Relic 10. Took 100% health, like 48% crit damage, attacker cron. And yeah, they do that. If you've seen this fight a handful of times, you're able to link up your guys readily, your Star Killer and your Stranger. You're able to get to your ult charge, and then something weird happens. Right about after that turn where you get that ult charge and you're waiting to get to the chance to transform, they take something like 12, like 12 turns go by, 15 go by, something like that. It's enough to almost or maybe kill your Bane. And yeah, once that happens, it's curtains. Because I did get the chance to transform right into being consistently ability thereafter. So health was important. I guess it would be also great if I had some kind of good chunk of health, high amount of tenacity, but I don't know how resistible that ability block is. Does anybody know offhand? Is that actually resistible? Spider Maul?
It's not.
Not? Okay. Well then I don't feel as bad. Yeah, so that's part of my experience. And then looking at some data here, Tiger and I were talking about it earlier today. JMK has some merit to it. There are a few people who were able to take this down for reasonable banners.
Specifically one person, and then one other random person.
There's a couple people.
But,
there's a few people.
Well, one person did it 3 times. One person did it once.
Was that one person Segamora?
You can't say.
I saw something in the data around it working with C3PO, and I thought it was Segamora.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw that one.
That's what it was. It was JMK, C3PO, Snips, Mace, and Padme was the comp that worked. There was also another comp that used Anakin on it that worked.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah, I have the data on screen. Scrolling it here. So,
oh, I can't. Sorry, I can't see him driving.
Well, just wreck yourself so that you can participate.
I'll turn onto the highway here soon, and then I'll be moving.
No, I'm joking.
Miles an hour.
I'm very much obviously joking.
I'm gonna turn onto the 94 parking lot here soon. Don't worry.
So that's my note on the experience. I know DJ is just bursting at the seams to talk about what he's got.
I use Queen one. Felt okay.
Mine is just I'm not doing LV. Even if I have to punish my way through it, I'm not doing the LV is the answer bullshit. So my big thing that I saw through Vex and then the other thing and just kind of like hyperbole is the Bad Batch. Bad Batch are going to be my go-to. I'm going to refine and tweak until I can get that correct. Because with that crosshair cron, it just feels stupid, dummy, easy. I'm sure there's going to be scenarios where it's not perfect, and I'm sure there's going to be scenarios where it doesn't do well. But it feels like the logic is there and super sound. And yes, this is me playing the fight, kind of just thinking it through.
I don't know what super sound means. The data doesn't look promising, but here's hoping you can get it to work.
Now you're being a responsible citizen and not watching this while you're driving, but TJ provided some footage.
I watched the fight.
Oh, okay. Then you're already up to speed.
I think that it's down to cron team build, and then kill order is going to matter. And then once you run through it, it's just you're fine, and it just locks it in. So it's like basically, and I feel like you're probably going to want the Batcher just for the setup to lock it in. But once you start going, the team just falls apart. And it feels like it's super logical with the setup, which also screams, and I know, Tash, you were proud of it, Fatal's call out, especially with this setup, feels super accurate. Where it's not necessarily, let me just ump the damage because it's not going to be needed, but it's the whole, there's no real tanks. And look at that. So the higher your defense you can stack, that feels like that's the accurate setup. But yes, I basically Batcher's going to take a million turns. In my opinion, the way I was doing it was, I'm going to work around the people who I need to kill. So Star Killer first, and then it's work on the sides. Then it's worry about the Maul and the Stranger.
Yeah, it was 3 for 5 that I recall with the Crosshair Crown versus the FDC. So there's some hope there.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. What crown is being used here on attack?
For me, it's the Bad Batch. It's the Crosshair Crown.
Crosshair.
Yeah,
Bulk.
when I looked this up
setup.
earlier, there were 5 total fights, and it was 3 for 5. So there is hope.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's there, and I feel like if you build it up correctly, I'm not going to go rehash everything. I feel like Fatal's done a really good job on the show and off the show, even during the thing, talking about how good they are. I just come to the thing that I want this to be the go-to work, and especially when set 25 dies, because this is against the FDC. I feel like you're all in that. There's just nothing that's going to stop Bad Batch being the go-to setup to take that out.
That's great.
Set 27 is hyper insane training wheels right now. Set 27 is...
Yes. Yes.
I have not
tried
playing it yet, but I haven't actually tried playing with it yet.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, Fatal, you're gonna walk away and go like, oh, this is dumb easy. And I will say, I naturally rolled some additional armor pen on the Kron. I didn't have to get crazy on the setup. But literally, if you listen to the playbook, do the playbook thing, it literally plays itself out. I just think kill order matters and locking it down, because this is the same age old adage of, if Star Killer's dead and the big breakup is gone, then you just start playing with your food and then you work it back.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. Now, Dagger, I know you were saying a couple minutes ago that you had success with Queen Amidala.
Yeah, I used Queen versus one, but it wasn't a maxed Maul. But again, it was one of those where, like, Lord Vader sucks. It was a 53 and a 58 or something like that for me. It was just miserable banners. So I was, it's miserable banner, like TJ said. Like, it's just, I don't want to do it. If possible, I would rather find something else. I'm glad I have the JMK thing in my back pocket, but I was going to do something like Queen or try Bad Batch. Because, like I said, there's something promising there.
Yeah. Now I see that you did Queen here using gas and shock T. You had an attacker cron, 25% turn meter, 200% critical damage. Tell us why you chose these two.
Not being crit out of turn by Star Killers felt good, and then healing for shock. That was it.
Okay.
Gas makes it so Star Killer can't. Yeah, words. Star Killer cannot crit when he attacks out of turn if gas is there.
Neat.
Also, Venus's counterattacks can't. Also, the Stranger's counterattacks don't crit.
Nice.
So there was an amount of safety there. Yeah, there was those two added an amount of safety, and yeah, that's about it.
I like it.
Other than that, it was how hard can I punch them back kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think that was the 200% CD cron that I used.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just how hard can I punch you in the face? The small is R4. I'm not going to get a better chance to try this.
How did you set it up? You did Qui-Gon third into Padawan swipe or something else?
Poke before AoE.
Okay. Yes.
I don't. Yeah, the lightsaber deflecty thing that he does.
Yeah, so you'll have that follow-up turn quickly and still be buffed by Qui-Gon, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all my questions. That's on it. Fatal, how about you? Your encounters versus Stranger.
I don't really remember what I did against it, but I posted my defense holds running the set 25 support. Nobody won. Pretty neat thing.
Wow, savage. So you didn't go healer. Tell us. I guess we can take a look on your the attributes. Is just super duper high health on. Yes, I believe that would be really. I believe high
Yep.
health was
LV
definitely part of my loss.
LV got 0 kills. JMK only got the cat nuke and failed to kill anybody else. Bad Batch failed to kill anybody. SOK failed to kill anybody. Yeah, the team was built to be a bastard, and a bastard it was.
Fair.
That's the healer cron you said?
Nope. Support crit.
Right. Support
Oh,
was
just
super
Cal
high
is the only
health.
support?
Very,
Okay.
very interesting.
What was the thought behind the support cron? Because I was planning to set a healer cron this week.
I like the way that I get shielded when I get crit.
Okay.
Yeah. With both Cal and Xeris there, it's a lot. I can see it.
I might try fucking around with healer cron at some point, just because.
Well, let's see. I said it once. I said, right, and I don't think anything. Yeah, I did the first round. Vader 53. Lord Vader 53. Yeah, that's with Cal and Xeris.
Lord Vader for 53 is what I got on offense as well. It was not. I don't even know what those. Okay, actually, I will say this. For LV, there's a non-zero chance that fight could actually be clocked to play pretty well. The thing that I noted is, so you start the fight, LV goes, Oppo goes. When your Oppo goes, you will notice they have 8 dots at everyone. You're like, huh, that's 8 dots at everyone. I'm pretty sure the last thing in human existence you should do is press the button that says, hey, they have 8 dots. Because that is your second time hitting everybody on the enemy team, and that kicks off the turn of events that gets you fucking murdered. Cal's first move is to dispel Scorch Taunt, which gets him Order 66 anyway. So there's a non-zero chance that you can just play the video game and DCT can just take a turn to do 1,000,000 damage without pressing the button that kills everybody. It might actually be playable. Like, that shit might be viable. I don't know if I'm going to be trying. I mean, it seems maybe worth trying at some point.
That actually tracks. That makes sense. Because that's the other reason why when you do with Queen, you lead with the Queen AoE. That's why you do the POW like poke. So you're not AoEing twice in a row.
Remind me of the
Because
clause. Remind us all here. I mean, it's clearly me that needs it, but what's the clause that we're worried about? This is Star Killer? Or
I don't know.
not
I just
Star
keep
Killer?
getting reminded about it.
No, it's from Stranger Lead. It's the when you take damage twice, you take a bonus turn.
Ah, yes. Not good. Sure.
That is why my mole is speedless. Also, I will note. Stranger Lead is basically what if bonus turn Datacron, but not Datacron. They just do that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, all right. Anything else you guys wanted to mention about fighting Stranger? No? Okay. Next up, EP DVD. So I only saw it twice. this week, and both times I used Maz. The first time I had OG Hondo with me, and I will say him being able to, you have to lock down Royal, so whatever, that's fine. But later in the fight, I was able to use his AoE and ability block most or all of the team twice. The minutes thereafter, and I got a 61 in the end. Really didn't care for it, but I decided to do it again in round 3. This time having SM33, more raw damage, because it took a while to get through Royal, right? And I was willing to gamble on the idea that if I quickly can put down Royal, then I could move the rest of the question mark. Yeah, it didn't work out that way, and we barely made it out. Something like a 58, 57. Like, it was horrific. I would not recommend it at all. Don't think I'll be doing that going forward this season. But that, if you had otherwise been successful with something else, and I'm hoping that somebody was, would love to hear it. But if you were curious about whether Maz was worth trying, it is something.
I was clean both times I did it. It was like a 53, and then it was like a 63, and then a 65, and I was just mashing buttons. I don't know how that team works. But
I did.
I also had Hondo.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know if you had Hondo or not.
You could check out the round 1 VOD when you get home, because it's time stamped, and you can let me know if you see a glaring error, because I'm open to critique on it for sure, but I had a bad time, I would say.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. I don't know what I'm doing with the team, and didn't limp away. So I anecdotally feel like it's a strong counter.
I
Well, I'll pull
definitely
it up on
did it with the
stream.
Moz fight. I recorded mine as well. So I have the video of my fight. He had Piet as his fifth in his. And that definitely took some work. But the DTMG Dagger brought a recommendation on it, and it felt okay.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting, because I'm pretty sure, wasn't it Fatal? I saw you do that. I'm pretty sure
So
I've seen somebody else attempt that and then just get like walked.
Get walked.
Yeah,
It was
that counter sucks.
no. So I barely ended up losing mine in the end, and I will note my mods were extremely shit. Imperial Remnant were not 18 before this point, and I had modded them as such. And also, it was my Moff Gideon Cron wasn't really meant to be a Moff Gideon Cron. It was actually just an Aphrodite Cron in advance, and so the stats were literally just like 150% potency.
Hmm.
That doesn't really help you in the living department. So yeah, no. The moment that I lost, I went back and reviewed the fight and then said, "Okay, this is still 100% the plan for week 2. I just need to fix our mods and Cron, and we'll be good." I think it's perfectly fine.
I feel like it's okay. I do feel like the AOE stuff really does track. I took Dagger Sing. My round 1, I did it, and I made note of where one. I took Dark Trooper because I they all look alike, right? They all look the same. But regardless of the fight, the Night Trooper feels really good in there with the AOEs it's doing, and you're just pummeling the team down. And as long as you're just watching what the team's going to do, it didn't feel bad at all. It just takes that one, a good datacron is going to do you well. And then two, you're just controlling the fight and you have to be aware of your surroundings. That's what I took away from the setup, trying to lock it out, really time when you're going to try to do any type of assisting, and be prepared for the consequences of doing so.
I can see a
Yeah,
successful
I mean,
attempt here for
God,
64.
God's. Yeah, I'll just say Godspeed to y'all. When I looked it up this morning, it was something like mid 30s, and that was
Let's
with the
see.
Gideon
I
level
was
9.
just looking at it. Like, the win rate is generally fairly poor. You've got a handful of attempts at 66%. The largest battle sample size was DTMG, Enoch, Death, Gideon, and Scout. And where successful, it's 64.2, but win
I really
rate
feel
is 39.8%. So let's take a look at this real quick. So yeah, turn meter level 3, long text Imperial Remnant level 6, Moff Gideon level 9, about 2 minutes. That these successful attempts are between 2 and 3 minutes. About and some of
Yeah,
them are even quicker, minute
if
and a
you
half.
lose control of the fight, if you lose control of the fight, you just lose the fight. Like it very much feels like you're just like CCing them into oblivion, and if they get meaningful turns, you just lose very quickly.
I wonder how much predicated on your Moff Gideon gets to go first. You turn me to rip that because that's gonna
Nope.
piss off Vader.
I did not turn me to rip. I took, like I said, we talked this out
Yeah,
in the beginning, you, me, and Dagger, and I kind of played the fight to that control
no
of,
good.
okay, I'm not going to rip because I'm not going to assist. So I was playing and feeling through the fight as we are doing it. And there's a lot of AoEs that are going on. So your damage is being applied out and you're just playing it accordingly. I didn't even have Scout on there. I'm sure there are dynamics in there, but like Night Trooper really does feel like a great tool on that team.
Yeah, I remember when I looked it up, Moz was like 70-ish%, 75% somewhere in there.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong,
When I
I'm a
filtered
fan
by
of the Moz too.
when I filtered by like Hondo and like that, like it. Yeah,
I can take
I
off DTMG. Let's take a look at the different Oz.
So do me a favor, Tess. If you're gonna
Sure.
look up DTMG for me, all I want you to do, and all I did was put in the basic people. Just put in DTMG, look up Moff Gideon, and then add Night Trooper.
Yeah, Night Trooper here. You've got 40 and 50% win rate respectively on 5 and 2 battles, respectively.
Yeah, I was like I said, that felt like, I think Dagger, you called it out, and I really feel like that was a piece of the puzzle that really helps increase the fight.
No, guys, I'm looking at teams that look reasonably well equipped. Now, these
yeah. So
ones, these
when, I-
ones using the
really quick,
buffs up.
when when I did all of my filters, I was doing R8 on attack, R8 on defense. So the numbers I'm recalling were filtered by Kyber 1, Division 1, R8 on offense and defense. So
Yeah,
there's probably some at R7 that changed or whatever. If you depends on what your filters are, right? I'm just telling you right now that like I posted a bunch of filters above in the scheme team,
I'm,
and then like I basically do all of my filters off of R8.
I can
And then
tell
if there's a ton
you.
of data, I'll try to filter by R9.
I can tell you this. I don't know if this is of particular interest, but on sample size of 5 of DTMG, Enoch, Gideon, Night Trooper, and Scout, win rate was 40%. Let's see.
Yeah,
Hold on, hold on,
I am
hold on.
well. I was just going to say, like, I am interested if that win rate could be improved. I will leave it to people like Fatal to improve to
The
improve the win rate.
of note, the level 3 on the 2 winners, that composition. By the way, that's minimum relics of 7 on the defending team.
Yeah.
The level 3s were 2% health and protection recovery, and then dark side buffs up level 3. However, there is one attempt that I see, and this is with TJ's preferred thing applied with Night Trooper included in the team, so I could filter him out and see what it looks like. But with him in, so it's DTMG, Enoch, Moff Gideon, Night Trooper, and then DTP, sample size of 164 banners in about 4 minutes, and that is the turn meter level 3. Yeah. Let's take out Night Rope. What else we're looking? 2 sample size of 2 with Enoch and Scout. Enoch, DTP, Moff Gideon, and Scout, 100%. 3.5 minutes, 2 minutes, respectively. Fighting from inferior relics, so having relic delta against them into this. All right, this might be real. This might be real. I did not attempt this myself in week 1, so I will offer myself as a willing sacrifice. I think this is interesting. DTP is able to be dropped. I can make room for this. Good to know. All right. Any other questions or any other comments to offer about fighting DVD week? Yeah, because I'm
No, but
pretty.
like there was a bunch of people. I shouldn't say a bunch. I seem to remember there was some Hondo stuff that was used. I remember even seeing like a Bad Batch team that won.
Well, Pirate King is a 64, but
there was like an OG Hunter lead team I remember seeing.
I
I don't
saw
know if
this.
there's legs
I got
there.
it on screen right now. This is not yeah. OG Hunter, Echo, Tech, Wrecker, and Batcher. Sample size of 1, 65 banners. It is the Mercenary Hunter Cron, so it doesn't really matter what the 9 is. 25% turn meter level 3, long text Bad Batch level 6, and kind of a grab bag of stats. Some 48% crit damage, 49% armor penetration.
Yeah, that one jumped out at me as being like, oh, okay, all right, let's monitor this shit.
That is interesting. It's a rare duck, but of note, looks like Balin with Zalbar and Dash. Sample size of 165. Let's take a look at Balin overall. There are a lot of comps that lost. There's a lot of goose eggs here. I'll tell you. Kira Dash ate it like a Big Mac. So looks like Zalbar seems to be an important ingredient. Let's check that out. With so there's only 3 fights with Zalbar. 2 of them are wins for 65 and 60, respectively. The better one was the Dash. Mara, no, it was OG Poe. So presumably with the Poe Cron, that was the 60. And then the straight up loss was with Mission Vow having a tank Cron. Take a look at. So that's HK Focus Datacron for the 60. And, this is fantastic because I'm not getting a lot of use out of this Cron. This is the Captain Phasma Set 25 DC. Zalbar and Dash, 54 seconds. So, could be a poorly modded opponent. You never know for sure. Again, sample size of 1, but curious. JMK will get it done.
One of those.
I was surprised.
This is one of those. I think this is one of those teams that is less interesting for us to talk about. Not that it's not interesting, but I think it's more interesting to plan your defense around.
Yeah, well, knowing what draws are, yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, like, based on what your opponent uses versus this, I think you can do some reasonably good positioning with this team. I think this team is going to be pretty cool this week. Like, so, if your opponent's going to Maz Kanata it, and then you just put Sith teams in the back, like Lord Vader in the back.
Check this out. There are, of all of the Maz teams, handful of attempts were 100% successful, 1 each. 2 of them having Silvo. 1 of them having Hondo and Silvo. And then the other being Nest, SM33. Very interesting. Yeah, I don't think I ran exactly any of those. So
not to push us any, but I'm getting close to being home, and I'd like to talk about more than 2 teams.
Sure. Well, that's fine. Unless anybody had any other comments about DVD, because it was a pretty frequent bottom front team all week. All right, Reva. So as far as fighting Reva goes, I fought it with and without all 3 abilities from the Focus Datacron active. So sometimes they set all the characters, sometimes they didn't. Wasn't really an issue the 2 times I saw, thanks to TJ. TJ provided a recommendation of using the Boba FDC, Zam Dengar, Boss Grief, and you are essentially avoiding using Bosk's Taunt and Grief's Dispel. I don't think you'll ever really need Boss Taunt. But Grief's Dispel is nice to use basically when it's just down to 1 character and you're able to finish them off quickly. Otherwise, there will be Deathmark and people will die. But it was expeditious for me both times. The first time I did it, like a 61, and then I cleaned up my act, had a 65 on the second try. Any interesting fights versus Reva, guys?
I did Malgus, and then I also, like, the round 1, I tried to get really cute, and I tried to, because he set the FDC version with all 3 of them, like no 7th. So I tried BKM, because I'm like, there was a world like a long time ago when this kind of sort of worked. So let me go ahead and see if this, and it was like, no, you can just go fuck yourself. So I ended up cleaning up with a Malgus undersized. But yeah, the Boba thing worked. Yeah, I don't know why. I just didn't think of it. It's not a team that a lot of times these like weird I call them weird, but these like FTCs that aren't normal stock teams, just like I forget about that they exist.
Sure.
Like I keep forgetting that the Pokron exists.
Yeah.
Not that I would really use it, but I just keep forgetting that that these toys exist.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, if nobody has anything else on Riva,
It just
please.
the team kind of dies to the same things as the old teams. Like Maliko still works, for example.
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, so my opponent round
Even
one.
Gungans, right? I thought I saw something that Gungans
I'm
was
pretty
working.
sure Gungans are a reliable one, yes. At least right now. I know in other times.
I didn't actually look up. I didn't do a deep dive on that team up with Insight, Sasha, because I figured the same thing you did, where it's like I bet everything else that did beat it still does, and just like
Yeah.
didn't
Yep.
look.
Well, let's take.
Yeah.
I'll take a quick look at just having the FTC
Yeah.
comp on real quick on screen. Let me. Save.
Also, I made a while you're doing that, I can tell everybody I did something really stupid today with because of my OCD. I R10'd my Jedi Revan, so he's next to Darth Revan on my roster.
Is that why you did it? I saw that in Guild's chat, and I'm like, wow,
The weirdo.
man
Yeah.
is like so Satil Sean ready. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I put in the bank for Satil as well. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I hit my second in the bank today, and I'm like, I'm gonna do Jedi Revan, so he's right next to Darth Revan.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've got Amalgus here on screen. This is assuming you've got the team required to fully activate the Focus Datacron. Amalgus is getting a variable amount of banners, average of 61, but I'm seeing a handful. Excuse me. 164, few 63s, and so on. So, yeah, Tankron most of the time. Looks like somebody took a bounty protocol from set 26 even once, an attacker cron once, but that was very poor banners. All right. On to Tarful, guys. Round one, my opponent used C Watt set, a set 26 cron with high health for 61 banners. And I've heard of people blowing through this team with all manner of stuff. I hadn't run it on defense after the first round. And I didn't
Same.
actually see it, I think. Did I see it at all? Hold on. I want to say maybe if I did, it was
tried
early.
it.
Yeah, I used Queen
tried-
on it in round one because I had it left over.
I want to say I also tried it on offense versus like a DTMG team and got hoed out. So like I couldn't even like get it to like beat B teams on offense.
Any fights of note versus Tarful teams?
No, not for me. I set it to round
On-
one and then I ripped it up.
I think there's some legs to it depending on what you want to take. I was looking at the data for attacks. It's definitely not defense. And I think everybody will agree. It was cool and novel, but what it's killing on offense, it's got legs to do more work. I was really excited. I'm not gonna still Fatal Thunder, but I was really excited to watch Fatal's testing that he was trying to implement because that was some cool shit. But I think Sasha will be happy. I feel like on offense, I wouldn't sleep on the Wookiees, man, to get the job done on a actual good team.
Well, what can you share with us here, Fatal? Because I've got this on
Share your
screen
hope, by the
at
way.
round 3 attempt.
Oh, the Parker fight? I
Yeah,
mean, my
the
Zelbar didn't crit on the AoE. I don't know that I would really believe in that fight, though. Like,
Okay.
I would be... Because I would assume he's possibly going to revive. I don't know. Like, it was plausible. Like, I've got my Zelbar battle for crit chance this week. But, yeah, it was plausible. I don't recommend anybody try it. If I run into another situation where my opponent can't clear, I might try it again. But yeah, we'll see. The Wookiees, I think, do feel strong. I think the biggest struggle for them is just going to be trying to get any banners back that you can, because to me, in 2026 Galaxy of Heroes, plenty of teams are strong. What defines your amount of power is how cleanly you can finish, what undersized potential that you have. Wookiees actually might have decent undersized potential, but if we're talking banner cleaner prepare, they kind of lack that, or at least they would have to extend out to running a fourth. So then, like, your absolute best case scenario would be a 66, which is not terrible, but yeah, it's sort of yeah, they landed pretty much exactly where I expected. I'm not impressed. I'm not unimpressed. I'm whelmed. It's exactly what I thought it would be.
Okay.
What I will say is when I looked up this team on defense, shout out to like the half dozen people that got somebody to C-Bane their Wookiees.
That's funny. I like that. All right, next team on deck, Afra. So, yes, I had the Relic 10 Afra, BT1, 000, IG. I think I ran it with Grievous as the 5th a couple of times with the FDC. Now, this specifically wasn't. Fatal was, but I wanted to see what happens. And yeah, it made no difference against Gungans. And that was my experience as well using Gungans against an Afra team. There were, it wasn't a 7-star IG90. I want to say it was like a 4-star. Not that it made a difference for the other characters that were 7-star because they all got just blown up by a high armor penetration attacker cron. But let's take a look over here, Fatal. What comments you? Because I know you were, I was following kind of the thing you were running, and I'd love to hear what you have to say with your experience.
I haven't looked at the data for mine yet, so
Yeah, so
I guess I can
Malgus
find
was
out as
tried
well.
against you round 1 against your support, and it ate it. He withdrew after 3.5 minutes, then went in with JML, basically regular comp, stat 26, high protection, stat 25% turn meter, and had what would have been a 64 if that was his first go. Ooh. That was
Round 2 was already. Round 3, I think, was just Gungans. I mean, yeah,
and indeed,
Gungan
it was
attacker.
Gungans. It indeed was Gungans, yeah.
Yeah, Gungan attacker cron is pretty ridiculous. I'm not really sad about losing that. It's more so just like, hey, yep, the moment set 25 goes away, this game is going to be a whole lot more enjoyable. Smile.
Agreed. I knew it.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it when I pulled it off myself. It's like, yeah, that was easy, but it's also, yeah, that's the crown, no?
Yeah, I posted a little further, not to pivot too much, but I have like 2 to 3 minutes, so I'm just going to rattle off a couple things if you don't mind.
Sure, please, yeah, share what you can.
Yeah, so Ahsoka without Ezra, even with turn meter, loses to Great Mothers. I did a filter. There's one higher up where it's like 3 or 4 instances of them just getting hoed out by Great Mothers for 100% win rate. If you set Ezra there, Zuckuss has there's a couple of Zuckuss Asajj teams that are looking really good against Ahsoka on defense.
Yeah.
And if you filter and if you put this team on defense, Zuckuss lead has, and I think it has something to do with the bug with Phenom, but Zuckuss lead has definitely overperformed all of the other possible leads. So I'm actually pretty happy about that specifically, that Asajj is doing good stuff. Yeah. I don't know what the plan is for people using Ahsoka, but if your opponent is kitted out or shows a man, this bounty hunter cron set is nuts. It's gonna be silly. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on any of that stuff.
Nothing that I wouldn't
The punch
believe
up
you because we
value of
looked over it.
Asajj, yeah, the punch up value of Asajj, I think it dies to the same stuff I think we've talked about. But it's punch up value. Asajj is killing a GL. I'll take that shit all day long. Um, what she gets to do and how you get to control it, even with the FTC or not, or the bounty hunter 300%, it's got a pretty big variety that I was seeing when I was looking it up.
Understand is don't use a team cleanse before you kill 4 Alarm, and you will do fine. The team doesn't really do much on defense.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm just saying that the best version, I think, is Zuckuss lead on defense, if you were so inclined. But yeah, looking at the results, like your opponent's going to set Ahsoka this week, eh? That's that's what you can do there.
I don't really know what to feel about Zuckuss lead at this point, because I reported that shit when Zuckuss came out. Nothing happened, and so I'm just like, is this canon? Is this like CG sanctioned now, that this is just the way that this exists? I guess.
It's going to be
maybe.
the Canderous. It's coming the way of the Canderous. Fatal. You will have said everything you needed to say. It will become just part of the game.
Well, we will see, I guess. I've kind of just been avoiding it until we knew more, because it felt like... Yeah, I mean, the Ahsoka counter, I mean... It depends, because, like, bounty hunters can still get ahead if they need to. That, like, Asajj plus Zam is enough firepower that, like, maybe it would still work without it. But it sure as shit doesn't hurt, considering how much turn meter the team can generate on top of having insane preload from Zuckuss.
Well,
It's definitely warping.
The Zuckuss teams that were beating Ahsoka, none of them had Zam. The ones that I was looking at. They were like
my point is when you don't have 50% free turn meter, if you still need to go first.
My apologies. Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
But yeah, Ahsoka feels really bad on defense this next week, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
I feel like
If you
don't
put
set
Ezra
your
there,
size.
Yeah. If you said Ezra, you
I'm
can
telling-
Zuckuss it, and if you don't set Ezra, you can Great Mothers it. I don't know. I might hold it.
Fair.
Dad bod lead, Forlom, Asajj, Fennec, and Grief killing LV. That feels pretty good. We already know it's killing Ahsoka. Like I said, the Asajj on the offense, man, the utility. I know she was one of a lot of people's top 3 of characters they were waiting for to come out. FTC is nice. And like I said, Bounty Hunter 300. There's a wide variety you get to do with her.
Oh yeah.
And if not, then you could put it with Seer or Knights or Great Mothers.
Yeah.
Well, Dagger had to drop out.
I hate to
on us.
encourage this behavior, but if we're talking about Ahsoka, one thing that I've noticed the theme, particularly from a few of the Phantom Menace guys, is that if they hold it, they will underman a Jabba with Ahsoka Ezra. So taking just 2 characters against a Jabba squad.
Wow. Yeah. Powerful. Well, it's very tough to set a rigorous defense, especially after this data. So thank you for sharing. Good one. All right. Yes, Dagger had to drop out on us, so appreciate you, Dagger. Thank you for your contributions. Guys, that was the end of my meta-analysis agenda, but this is your chance. Any other, teams you wanted to highlight? Any other new counters, emergent counters you wanted to mention?
Just to call out, I've heard a lot of hate on it. I am a personal huge fan of the Luke with the Leia. I know we talked about it. I stand strong by this. In 5s, he feels so good with that team. Like to me, it's a 4-man staple. And then you're just adding a 5th because of just the ability to do the AoE mass assist from that team. And then if you want a turn meter swap, what you do with the fight is just great. And I don't think that's propped up by set 25. Although set 25 is nice, it just feels so good to have that control. That control mechanism feels absolutely like, where has this been the entire time?
Can you tell us? I see in round 2 you fought a Rey, Swolo, GK, Exile, Ezra, Luminara with the Lumi healer.
It's the Lumi. The entire thing was I've wasn't even thinking about it. It's just going against the grain of saying I want to see where I can push the Luke on the team. But you're talking about a level 9 that says you attack out of turn with a guy who does nothing but push attack out of turn. That's literally just me testing to see the waters and then saying, oh, well, set 25 caught me. But once that goes away, again, this 4-man, it's you don't have to fall into the realm of it's Jyn Adarad anymore. Go put him and the Chupia felt really strong. I know I used him. Even when that goes away, the the control mechanisms that get to put in place when you get to blind and you get to do everything else, you don't get to take turns, is just allowing your team to do more. And even when this all goes away, I feel like Ahsoka with Ezra has her days numbered with the addition of Luke for Leia.
Mhm. Good stuff. Anything else you had?
No, nothing else I think there's to add for that one. But just I hate the Luke hate. Love your Luke, man. It's built on hope for a reason.
Rebellion. Fatal, Sasha, how about you guys? Anything emerging counters wise? Otherwise, we can branch right into just a quick review of your favorite attack or defense if we hadn't otherwise mentioned it.
Nothing from me. I'll just hand it over to Fatal.
Fatal. This is the part where he's fighting a cat for his very life.
No, I forgot that I had muted for a second. I mean, I posted Bad Batch. They kind of did some stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to continue posting Bad Batch. I mean, their fate is kind of just to get GL'd by GLs who don't really care about S77. So,
Sure, yeah, you had a couple people that were willing to risk going with something like BKM, and that did not pan out. By the way, I'm kind of glad you didn't have the chance to get back to me earlier in the day. I sent you a DM to ask, and I'm pretty sure you'd explained it before, but I've since forgotten why the health primary orientation on your mercenary wrecker.
support run.
Just to maximize your product gain.
Yeah. I mean, there are a variety of matchups as well where you might be punished for being on protection primaries. Protection primaries are higher bulk. It's just kind of know what you're planning going into that week. I mean, maybe I could have swapped him for this week for set 27 or whatever. I don't think it makes that big of a deal. Also, strong arguments for in this case, I am being fought by AJML. Riposte lesson, certainly a thing that exists. It's always, interest in Bad Batch around this season seems to be a lot higher now that they have their Datacron. So,
yeah,
I'll probably end up reiterating more stuff as we kind of go through it, and people are, it might be stuff that I've said before, but a lot of people are also, a lot of podcast listeners also kind of hearing it for the first time since they're now on the market for it.
Sure.
Yeah. Hunter's protection unique. Plus, I think they even have higher baseline. Is basically what you're weighing against. You want to be on protection, unless you are forced to go otherwise. And that being said, too, Omega's lead gives you bonus turns when you fall below on health. And so there's slight benefits
to be in health modding when that should occur. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a little bit more runway to get closer, be back to full health to set that back up again. It's,
So the real question then is, when support cron goes away, do you think you're going to keep it? Or will you go back to Prime?
I mean, it would depend entirely on what I'm planning on doing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the matchups that you've accustomed, Pirate King, stuff like that. How do you feel about these matchups that you've had some practice against offensively in a post support crom world on balance? This is nothing's being signed in blood here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking for your gut feeling on it right now. This can change later.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm planning on doing Pirate King, I would probably just go back to protection so he could be as tanky as he could be. I mean, Stranger, I'm not really sure. I would assume it leaves protection. Yeah, he ignores health a little bit, but I don't think meaningfully. Yeah, I don't know. It's really, I just try to consider who I'm going to fight this week. I don't really do it per week. It's more so just every season. It's okay, what am I doing with Bad Batch this season? Tilt them in that direction, and then if you change your minds, then maybe remod them from there. I was tempted to try to remod them for defense for this week, but after I saw the JML and the JMK. It's just like I don't know that I can really remod for that. That's
I
you know,
yeah, I
it was
don't
like
think you should even try.
yeah. I tend to agree. I did not.
Sure. All right. Appreciate you going through all that. Okay. And so yeah, that was your contribution for your favorite attack or defense. Appreciate that, Fatal. I assume anyway. TJ, Sasha. Well, not Sasha. Sasha doesn't have anything. TJ, anything else you wanted to
He's not.
call
He's
out that
not a
you
real
didn't before?
boy. He's a wooden boy. Nope. The
Yes.
biggest one, man, was getting in the door with Bad Batch to start that up and figure that out.
Well, let's see here. I want to point out for myself, as far as favorite attack, lesson learned. I mentioned this earlier. The Relic Delta in my favor versus Stranger, Starkiller, Relic 2, Maul, Relic 7 Visas, Paris, yeah, Relic 8 for Starkiller, and Relic 9 for Stranger. That was with all this health and everything, and yeah, it was bad. So good to know there. I saw Queen, and I'm reasonably willing to accept that there's a better way to have played the fight, but I did not like Queen, and it looked very strongly successful in the data. Like 63 plus banners would have been sufficient. Gungans, yes, this is something that there's only a handful of fights, but I saw that I technically should meet requirements to do this to pull off Gungans versus Rey, Swolo, Luminara, Exile, Ezra, and GK with the Luminara health cron. 25% turn meter on the 3, not bulk, but it's still healer level 6, and about 110% health, so just a purely health stat rolled cron. And surely the health was what damned me more than anything else, because there were a handful of successful attempts where they even had Relic Delta working. So I have to assume that was the. And I think that's about it for me. There were some other cool fights, but nothing that was terribly out of the ordinary. Anything else from you, Fatal, before we take it back around? All right, let's go to takeaways and final thoughts. Guys, busy week. We've certainly refined some stuff. I know I showed you guys. I guess I can show the folks here the couple remods I locked in for just tune up on the Stranger. He went from about 300 to up to 30. Health is, I also put him in Relic 10, so he's got all that, that comes with it going for him. 100,000 health, 70,000 prot, about 8,400 offense, and 72% armor. And then, yes, Relic 10 also added on to Stranger and Captain Drogon for this week. So here's Stranger now, 115,000 health, 290 speed, 11.2k offense, and 60.9% armor. And I've seen folks like Fatal with full defense sets, let's say 4 health primaries, very bulky, but then I want to say up and over 72% armor for you, isn't it, Fatal?
I think everyone's at about 75.
75. Bad.
I don't think I said a stat number. I think I was just like,
Yeah, I think I
Flat.
observed it. Yeah, all right. It just happens to be 72 right now. Star Killer. But yeah, this is a considerable difference in armor. And as I think a lot of folks saw this week, as the fight progresses, Starkiller ends up being a pretty natural target to take the mark. And that can be good for him. He gets to counterattack and smack people, but only if he doesn't just get bullied down, or if he doesn't just get bullied down earlier than that. And so, credit where credit's due, there may be some more need for armor in the future. This is an improvement made between 1 and 2 on my end. So we'll see how it goes. If I'm not impressed with the results, I might go more in this direction. Because that will surely be more dangerous when we go back to 3 versus 3 as well. All right. So yeah, the takeaways and the final thoughts, aside from just those remods, just based on observing, taking a look at some other players, see what they've got going. I will take a bit less risk this week. I did have some fun, especially in the third round against a very clever opponent, and I had some fun. And I'm gonna do that again this week, but it's gonna be fueled by data. This will be a very data-driven week, and don't set Wookiee on defense. That would be a tip. One last thing about Afra. I want to say the way she's set up now, there are a number of opportunities to find against teams like even Fugitive Omega with all the trappings of what we're looking at from set 27. Is brutally slain by Afra and her 3 primary droids with no other accompaniment. I did use the FDC, but that was an easy 66. Everybody was gone long before or without bonus protection. So serious offensive future, I think. Afra, we'll have to see what that might look.
It just turns out that everyone's going to default to Gungans. That I might go the same route for this season, and I think that she will possibly be better positioned with set 25 out of the picture. Certainly, she has. I mean, set 26 is dope for her. Set 27 is dope for her. At this point, you can tell me set 28 is like, hey, it's Captain Cron after Cron's return. I'd be like, that tracks. She's weirdly blessed right now for options.
Very fair. Well, let's pivot over to TJ here real quick for your takeaways and final thoughts. What do you have to say, wrapping all this up, what we've been discussing, and your thoughts going into week 2?
Honestly, I have to kind of echo Fatal and where he was at, and then what I'm trying to do to find my joy. I'm gonna slab. I'm gonna go heavier than I think I've ever gone. Like I said, I've already started looking at what I want to do, and I'm gonna make us both pay because I'm not having fun. So if I'm not having fun, then you might as well not have fun either. So I'm just gonna look to make this as abusive as a fight as possible, and we'll just see who comes out on top. My play style is not working, and I learned it late. So we'll see where we get to do. But if you see me coming your way, I'm not coming light. And anything you think I've done is not where I've been for a long time.
It's really, the number of times that I said, set 25 blocks the thing that I was trying to do, like, as goofy and annoying as this period has been, I actually take it as a good sign, because the implication is the moment that set 25 goes away, I think things are going to become extremely interesting.
Oh yeah, and the uncertainties are just outrageous.
Like the amount of sauce that has been held back for the past few months for me, like the sauce was there. The sauce was like clearly visible. It was just like you thought that your kit worked the way it worked. And it almost did, but alas, you cannot heal or you cannot, do whatever you need to do. That was just like the floodgates are going to open, man.
I agree. All right, TJ, anything else you wanted to add?
Nope. Like I said, Fatal. I get to say Fatal was right, and so I'm going to find my joy my way, which is reckless abandonment of what it needs to be. Again, Fatal called it very well. Training wheels on the Bad Batch, but Bad Batch are the new killer for bring all ye strangers and I will dissect. And if I fail, then I'll learn why I failed and try to make the adjustments. But that just means I get to set heavier on defense. So I'm just going to set a number of things based on what I see, and we'll let it fly and see where we get to.
Sounds good. Appreciate you. All right, Sasha. So you've had the opportunity to just kind of kick back here, and it sounds like you've got another dud week for week 2. So you're going to be here in a largely, observational learning capacity, aside from a bit of intel you might pick up and share. But what are your takeaways and final thoughts?
Just listening to you guys and sort of, again, being more passive at this point, I am excited for the sunset season 25 and just the difference that that major like seismic change in the datacron meta is going to make. I think in part just for the viability of a lot of GLs. The thing that's frustrating is like in the few hours between the end of last week and going into the
Oh, said round and then you cut off. May have been attacked.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're back.
Sorry about that.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. I was looking for more GL defensive viability, and I was kind of coming to the same conclusion that like Fatal's described and TJ's bemoaned as well, of like I just would really the OPDCs to disappear, because they foil a lot of like interesting plans. So anyway, that's where I am. But mostly going into this week, it's just going to be about watching you guys and follow your favorite content streamers.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Now, Fatal, over to you. Your takeaways and final thoughts, and of course your usual self plug at the end. So
Yeah, I I probably should sit down before this first match and figure out what I want the rest of the season to be. Kind of the same as what TJ was saying. Of I just need to figure out the way to make this season the most fun to get us to the finish line, and then I can play the video game again. Yeah, whether or not that's like our Bad Batch back on offense probably is Afro on offense. Maybe like, yeah, we'll see. I wasn't really married to either idea. It was just sort of, yeah, let's see how they do. And I mean, they got some holds, but they died to the usual suspects. And I mean, it's the same theory that I've had with all the other teams recently, which is like when they have that much power on offense, trading for a 65 to a GL just does not really feel like the maximal potential. And there are a few curveballs that I think I can test on defense this week that I haven't really seen anybody talk about, and I think maybe could catch some people out. So I think this will be a fun week. Certainly, there's a lot of novelty out there. The hard part is just going to be not shooting yourself in the foot with like Wookiees or whatever have you. But if it happens, it happens. Certainly, there are plenty of Iridiums to punish me, I guess, for betting, but we'll see. Twitch.tv/PetbookTV, YouTube.com/the playbook. That's the first time I've ever actually tripped up on that. I was actually pretty proud of that before the streak is over.
Yep. Well,
yeah.
magic is gone.
Yeah, it's done. I'm destroying the channel.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. And of course, thanks to all of you guys here on the podcast. Dagger, who's already left. Good show. Really appreciate it because there was a lot to digest, especially with the new Focus Datacrons debuting in 5 versus 5. Of course, if you want to catch me live here this week, you know that that's going to be at twitch.tv/Tassenix. I also stream from my YouTube, Tassenix Gaming, where if you've not been there before, check it out. Whole bunch of Slugger-related content over there that you may not have seen before. Stuff like the How to Mod Guide series. Mod guides on characters and factions that you've requested. My GAC VODs with chapters for browsing and so much more. It's also a rebroadcasting point for this very podcast. And wherever you catch an episode of the show, check the description. There is a link. Plug it into your preferred podcast program and follow us that way. Of course, anything that you watch over there on YouTube, please do hit like, hit subscribe to support the channel for absolutely free. Follow on Twitch to do the same. And really appreciate your interest here in all that we're doing. Because, it's an exciting time as it close out set 25, and it's just going to be a more positive experience for everybody very near future. If you want to go above and beyond to support the channel, there are a few ways to do so. I have a PayPal that is I have a Cash App that is $Tassenix. I have a PayPal that is Tassenix.com. And of course, if you want an improved Grand Arena scouting tool, early access to my content, including plotting and scheming, and a few other benefits besides. You may be interested in becoming a patron. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Tassenix. For any upwardly mobile Grand Arena player, there is something there of interest for you. At $5 a month, you enter the Tass House at VIP access level, where you get early access to the Plotting and Scheming show that's coming out to our general audience Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern. But patrons have it as early as Monday or Tuesday night within hours of us recording, so you have that early edge going into the first round of the week. I will occasionally record patron exclusive videos that you'll have at least a month ahead of the general public, and of course, a dedicated text and voice chat on Discord where I am usually lurking, so pop on in and say hi. Thank you to all my patrons here at VIP Access. Moving on up to the $10 a month tier is VIP Access Plus, where you get a bundled Patreon access to me and to your choice of either OmegaBot or Hot Utils Patreon. OmegaBot's that tool that I highlight at the start of all of my Grand Arena streams. It's the one with the graphs that breaks down, your opponent's Swugga.gg into easily understood graphs and tables and charts that make it very easy for you to understand your opponent's offensive and defensive tendency. Anybody can use that tool for free to scout their opponent's last week of Grand Arena history, but only patrons can build out a custom report with any number of weeks. Get a downloadable HTML version of the report with embedded links that'll take you right back in, Swugga.gg or Insight, whichever you're using, and just help you further minimize and focus your scout. So, just a fantastic tool. You might otherwise spring for the Hot Utils Patreon, aka Chili subscription, which is your number one tool for max mod management and loadout creation. Nothing else lets you switch so easily between your Grand Arena, TB, TW, and Raid mods. You can use it like TJ and Fatal do to comprehensively remod your roster using the powerful automation feature. And help out your guild in TW, slice through, mods, hundreds at a time, process all of those erodiums into goodies. But no, not erodiums, bronziums. Bronziums into goodies, so much more. No wrong way to go at VIP Access Plus. Thank you to all of my patrons here. At VIP Access Premium, that is $15 a month for the Double Bot bundle. So Patreon access for me, OmegaBot, and Hot Utils all in one price. Going out and getting those two bots anywhere else costs the same as this triple bundle, which is why so many of my patrons say it's one of the best values in the game. Thank you so much to all of my patrons here at VIP Access Premium. I know you guys enjoy the double bots. At the top of the list, Injester's Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper, a madman who pops in and drops hundreds of subs, carries hype trains, been doing it for years. Thank you so much for the incredible support, Reaper. And of course, to Pills, who likewise has been popping in mostly towards the end of my streams. Been out 10 subs here, 100 subs there. I never know what's coming, and it's always appreciated regardless. Thank you so much, Bill. Special thanks go out to First Lost Womprap, one of my patrons who helps out not only me with my technical issues, whether that's with OBS, Stream Deck, what have you, but is also a big help for the same and more to other members of my community, and I'm sure a bunch of others. So thank you, Womprap, for all of your time and attention. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you for all you do in the background, whether that's bringing me something to eat or drink while I'm here on stream, or just keeping our daughter from tearing the house apart while I'm trying to be the very best like no one ever was at a phone game. I appreciate you. And of course, to Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal, my co-hosts here on Plotting and Scheming. Gentlemen, as always, it has been a pleasure and a privilege to record this show with you. It's always tough with work, family, whatever the daily obligations are, to always commit to being here every week. But you guys still get it done. And I learn from every episode, so I'm sure it's occasionally the same for you. It's always a worthwhile effort, though, because the viewers always appreciate the show. It is rare that a day goes by that I don't get some type of note, a comment on YouTube, something thanking us for our discussions here because they're picking up tidbits they can apply in their own rounds, and it helps them win the day. So we're having the effect that we wanted to with our show, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and I wouldn't change a thing. That brings us to the end. So thank you so much for watching all the way. It's a very interesting week 2 to come, and looking forward to seeing you in the streams in the next couple of days. Until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.